Did you see this video of a 13-year-old from Texas calling out Trump on all his anti-Mexico rhetoric, even saying that he won't tolerate any slander?
It's crazy how much Mexico helps us considering how much we screw them over. Because Trump threatened on multiple occasions that he was going to invade Mexico. Trump said he was going to build a $60 million wall across the border so immigrants could not get into the country. And then he said he'd make Mexico pay for it. That was his idea.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Let's have a real talk here. What happens when truth doesn't come from a politician, doesn't come from the media, but comes from a 13-year-old? No script, no filter, no agenda, just raw, unfiltered confidence, and somehow that shakes the room more than grown adults ever could. But because when a young voice speaks and people actually listen, that means something deeper is going on. And right now, that's exactly what is happening. But before I break this down, I want you to watch those clips. Don't just hear what the 13-year-old was saying. Watch how people react. Watch the confidence in him. Watch the impact, because once you say it, you will understand why this moment is blowing up on the internet. So without wasting much time, let's watch those clips together.
Did you see this video of a 13-year-old from Texas calling out Trump on all his anti-Mexico rhetoric, even saying that he won't tolerate any slander?
It's crazy how much Mexico helps us considering how much we screw them over. Because Trump threatened on multiple occasions that he was going to invade Mexico. Trump said he was going to build a $60 million wall across the border so immigrants could not get into the country. And then he said he'd make Mexico pay for it. That was his idea. Trump also added unnecessary tariffs on Mexico. Not to mention, in the 1800s, we stole a bunch of land from them. Don't say conquered. We stole it. And don't say I don't love my country. I love my country enough to hold them accountable for their own actions. We've done so much to Mexico, but who was there first during the Texas floods? Not Kristi Noem, not Trump, not FEMA, but Mexico. Who was there during the Californian fires earlier this year saving lives? Mexico. So I will not tolerate Mexico slander.
What do you think about the president? I know currently in D.C. he's having a birthday party sort of parade. What do you think about that as you guys are protesting here and in other cities across the country?
I can remember in 2016 all the propaganda that was put out on North Korea and how they had a show for Kim Jong-un's birthday and all the rockets that they displayed and the nuclear weapons. And the West took that as an insult and kind of a threat. Well, I see absolutely no difference in what's happening in D.C. right now. It's an absolute waste of tax dollars in any kind of way that you can put it. It's a threat. It's a threat to the American people that says if you step out of line, we will destroy you. We will take everything you love away. And I'm not going to stand for that. This is America, and you are nothing without the American people. And I want you to know that. If you're not angry, you're not listening. You need to be aware. It is your civic duty to care about what's going on. I don't care if you're Democratic or Republican. You have a constitution that says freedom of speech. You have a constitution that says freedom of the press. You have a living document that lives and breathes for the people. And that man is using it in corrupt, demonic ways. And he wants to talk about how the LGBTQ, how black communities, how POCs, how immigrants are the devil. That's only one devil I can see, and he sits in the White House. You should be angry. You should be out here with us. They don't care about you. These people, and you should show them, all of these people out here. These are the people. This is their country. This Capitol building, people are supposed to come here and represent us. And they won't. So I will represent me. That's what I have.
So I will not tolerate Mexico slander. We've done so much to Mexico, but who was there first during the Texas floods? Not Kristi Noem, not Trump, not FEMA, but Mexico. Who was there during the Californian fires earlier this year saving lives? Mexico. So I will not tolerate Mexico slander.
Tonight, a viral video drawing national attention and sparking intense debate across social media. A 13-year-old boy from Texas has gone viral after posting a sharp message criticizing President Trump, telling supporters, "If you still support Trump, look in the mirror." The clip spread rapidly online, generating thousands of reactions and placing the teenager at the center of a political conversation far beyond his age. In his post, the young teen speaks confidently about national politics, offering blunt opinions that have drawn both praise and pushback. Supporters say it's an example of youth engagement in civic issues. Critics, however, question the tone of the message and raise concerns about the growing role of social media in amplifying political voices, especially those of minors. The moment underscores a larger shift in how political debate now unfolds. Increasingly, it's happening not in town halls or classrooms, but on phones and social platforms, where messages can reach millions in minutes. Tonight, the conversation continues about influence, responsibility, and the evolving role of young voices in American politics.
How were they okay with a presidential candidate bragging about sexual assault?
It's locker room talk. That's what boys do. He didn't do it.
Well, I don't talk like that.
Well,
Do you have any children?
I do.
Do they talk like that?
No, they don't.
So not those boys.
Well, no, not
Do you have a
those
husband?
boys. I do.
Does he talk like that?
No.
Well, not that boy.
No.
Is that how you talk?
Well, no, but I feel like he says
Is that
like,
how your dad talks?
well, no, but
Is that like your pastor talks?
no, not
So
necessarily.
who talks like that?
Well, obviously Donald Trump.
It was stupid bragging men talk. Men brag.
We brag, right? You brag a bit, right?
Not exactly, but I know quite a few people that do.
And background dab.
So once again, the DOJ has been caught covering up for Trump. They are still hiding documents pertaining to his name inside the files. The DOJ was forced to release the FBI interviews where the 13-year-old girl accuses Trump of abusing her in a very violent and graphic way. And now NPR has discovered that there are still 37 pages missing, and they have no excuse for why they haven't released them. Meanwhile, over the weekend, they released 20 documents, 1,000 pages at most. And within those were the names of 21 victims, their full names, first and last. While they are meticulously going through the files to make sure they don't release anything that hurts Trump, they're exposing the victims' names again. You cannot tell me this isn't on purpose. This isn't to send a message to the survivors that we know who you are, and now we're going to let everybody else know who you are. The victims that are in public, that are out there speaking, have told us that asking them to expose these men is to put their lives in danger, and we need to stop asking them to do that. The Department of Justice has been working since the very beginning to protect Trump with absolutely no regard for the survivors. They have released their names, their places of work, because they don't care and they want to intimidate those survivors. There's no other reason for it.
Random thoughts. Like, y'all mother truckers really elected Donald Trump as president a second time. Like, you guys really thought? Like, you guys really believed him? Y'all really believed that he gave a F? Y'all really thought Donald Trump gave a F about the American people? Y'all really thought he gave a F about lowering the price of eggs and groceries for us? Y'all really, like, it's the level of ignorance and delusion. The Americans that voted for him, and like specifically the ones who claim to like not be MAGA, and the ones that say like, you know, I don't really agree with his rhetoric, but he was a good businessman, and y'all don't know shit. Because if you knew shit, you would not be saying he was a good businessman. Y'all believed a rich white man who's had lawsuits, who's filed bankruptcy, who has had a very negative reputation in the public eye for decades. For decades. Y'all really thought Donald J. Trump gave a F-U-C-K about the average American person? You think Donald Trump gave a fuck about the fact that we can't afford groceries and we can't afford healthcare? Y'all really thought he gave a fuck? And y'all believed him. Every time people would question him about Project 2025, I'm not a part of that, and I'm not about that. Everything that's happening right now since January, Simba, please, has been in Project 2025. I hate y'all. Like, right, Simba? Right? I hate y'all. Like, I feel like I will never forgive America for putting him back in the White House. And like, every single day, I just feel like I'm on the edge of my seat because I don't know what's going to happen next. Every single day, I am just gut-wrenched by some of the things that I am seeing in the news and the media and what people are going through and how people are suffering. And I mean, just devastation is happening. And I feel like just because it's not in your backyard yet, you should not be turning a blind eye to this. Because it's them tomorrow, or no, it's them today and you tomorrow. And that's how you're supposed to think. Some days I wake up and I'm just like, y'all motherfuckers really believe that man? Y'all really believed him. And this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. It's just really depressing. And I try to like just stay busy. Obviously, I have a very full life. But damn. Shit's bad. Like, shit's really bad in America. And it's just gonna get worse. And it's very scary. It's very scary. And I just think a lot of us are just coping and like, a lot of us don't really know what to do. That's all. That's all I got. I just had to get that off my chest.
Well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight, this guy. He's a terrible, I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. But he was a lousy host. I'd say not as bad as Jimmy Kimmel, but pretty close. And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
It's time to talk about a horrific 32-page letter written by one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, detailing some of the horrible abuse she endured and talks of selling her unborn baby. I know this shit is really hard to read right now, but we the people have a responsibility to understand what we're going up against. We are the only ones that can actually do something about this, as almost all of our elites are compromised. So please, if you can, I want you to hear this. And I also want to make it clear that the DOJ has recently removed this entire letter from the Epstein Files directory. Letter number 4 here details how she was threatened with a gun and also forcefully shot up with hard substances. There were talks of getting her pregnant and marrying her off. They instead decided to sell her off to the Epstein bunch via Donald Trump. They then go on to talk about how she is pregnant and also has been drugged, and how they want to use her child to sell them into the Epstein ring. They also discuss further selling her off to somebody in Saudi Arabia. Then, as someone tries to assault her, they are then hurt by her toenail. So Trump says this in response. He shouts, "Deals off, we won't take violent females. Deals off." And in the next letter, they are deciding what to do with her, and Trump says that you can feed her to the fishes. I do not care what you do with her. She then details her experience after they departed of how she had no food, no water, no place to go to the bathroom, and was left with drugs that she was supposed to take, when a young boy next door was supposed to help her and was killed for trying. This shit is fucking disgusting, and I hate to say it, but is one of the numerous mentions of Donald Trump, our president, in the files. There are several heinous accusations against him in these files, and we need to understand how horrific this actually is. There are countless victims in these files speaking out about many of our elites, including our president. And it is your responsibility as a protector of our community and our children to believe these victims. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were already convicted as sex traffickers, and these are their confirmed victims. You cannot say they were lying.
Now that you have seen those clips, let's really talk about it. Because this isn't just about a kid going viral. This is about who people are willing to listen to, and why a 13-year-old stepped into a space usually dominated by adults and said something that it's had enough to shake conversation online. For years, political conversations have been controlled by powerful voices, people with platform, people with influence, and people with narrative to protect. But when someone unexpected steps in, especially someone young, and challenges those ideas, it disrupts everything, because now the question becomes, if a 13-year-old can say this, why didn't everyone else say it as well? So now the black perspective becomes important here, because historically, black voices, young and old, have often been dismissed, ignored, talked over, told they are too emotional or too early to understand. But moments like this flip that narrative. They shows that awareness doesn't come from age, it comes from observation, from lived reality, from paying attention. And when a young voice speaks truth, it reminds people that clarity isn't reserved for those in power. Now let's talk about this reaction. Some people are impressed, some are shocked, and some are uncomfortable, and that discomfort, that's the real story. Because when a simple message causes that much attention, it means something was challenged, a belief, a narrative, and a sense of control. And when control is challenged, people don't always respond calmly. When those why does it take someone unexpected to say something obvious for people to finally pay attention? Why do certain truths only gain traction when they come from voices people didn't expect? Because that tells you something about how information is filtered and who people choose to listen to. This moment reveals a shift in how influence works. It's no longer just about title or position. It's about impact, and today in today's world, anyone, literally anyone, can spark a global conversation, even a 13-year-old. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Donald Trump, and it's not just about viral video. It's about how people respond when their perspectives are challenged, especially by voices they didn't expect to take seriously. For Black communities, this kind of dismissal and eventually recognition is not new. But moments like this, they show that the system of who gets hard is starting to change. So when you see headlines like 13-year-old goes viral for talking down Donald Trump, don't just see it as an entertainment, see it as a signal that influence is shifting, that voice are changing, and that truth can come from anywhere. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think this moment is just hype, or does it shows a real shift in who people are willing to listen to? Drop your thoughts in the comment below and let's have a real conversation about it. And if you want more bold, real, and thought-provoking reaction like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because on this channel, we don't just react to viral clips and moments. We break down what they really means, and trust me, this conversation is just getting started. Thank you for watching. I will see you all in my next video.